The draft is one of the most surprising, exciting, thrilling, nerve-wracking, anxiety-producing moments of your entire life. And I have good news and I have bad news for you. The good news is this video today is going to help you if you're walking through that. The bad news is there's always going to be surprises, and no matter how much you learn, I promise you're not going to know everything. Hey everyone, if we haven't met before, my name is Jacob Turner. I'm a former Major League Baseball player. I was the 9th overall pick in the 2009 MLB Draft, and now I own a company, Moment Private Wealth, a financial planning firm that specifically helps athletes and entrepreneurs build and protect wealth. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to the family or the player of a future draftee. This could be for the NFL, this could be for the NBA, this could be for the NHL, and this could be for the Major League Baseball. And what we're going to talk about is 4 things that I always talk about to set the financial foundation for you when you're going through this draft process. And the reality is there's millions of things you can be thinking about. But what I tell every family is do not get overwhelmed. You have to start with a foundation. So many times I see families and they try to start with the 3rd level of the house. They're trying to pick out fixtures for the bathroom when they should be building their financial foundation. And that's exactly what this video is going to talk about. We are not going to be getting into the weeds of all the nuances and all the things you could be doing in each league. Instead, we are going to be talking about the foundational elements that I think are so important for every family walking through this process. And heck, they're the foundational elements that I wish somebody would have told me when I got drafted back in 2009. So let's dive in. Number 1, you need to understand your tax bill. I'm going to say that again because I think this is so important. You need to understand your tax bill. Now, most of the time, teams will pay you out on a signing bonus and the team will withhold 22% in taxes. And the reason why I know that is the typical federal withholding for signing bonus is 22%. That's what the mandatory withholding is. They have to withhold at least that amount. If you are a high earner, if you're a first round pick in any of these leagues I just talked about, chances are you're going to be in the 37% income bracket. And you know what that means? You're going to owe taxes above and beyond what was withheld from your paycheck. In addition to that, you need to be thinking about state taxes, depending on how your signing bonus is structured, depending on what state you live in, depending on what state you were in when you got the signing bonus, depending on what state your team plays in. All those things are going to factor into what your state income taxes are, and you need to make sure those are right. Now, you might be thinking, this already feels overwhelming. Well, the reality is you need to make sure you have the right team of people around you. At Moment, we specialize in working with athletes. We specialize in running these sorts of tax projections to make sure that you know as a family, okay, we have the right amount set aside, and if we don't have the right amount set aside, we know exactly what we need to do to make sure that that doesn't happen in the future. Number 2, you need to understand your cash position. Remember, we're talking about foundational concepts here. The reason why I say this is we already touched on taxes. And the reason why that cash position is so important is if you owe additional money above and beyond what was withheld from your paycheck, the good news is you get to keep that money until April 15th of next year before you have to file and pay taxes on it. Now, that gives you an incredible opportunity to be able to potentially earn some interest on that money without taking risk because that money is earmarked for taxes. And the other part of this is typically for most draftees, the draft is a whirlwind. I talked about at the beginning. It's like this combination of anxiety producing and exciting and unknown all bundled into one day. And then it flows to the week after that, the week after that, the week after that. Before you know it, you're at the team facility and all you're trying to do is make a good first impression. And I'm here to tell you that's the most important thing you should be doing because that team drafted you to hopefully play on their field one day and be an impact player for them. And I want you to make a good first impression. That's exactly what I tell all of the athletes we work with. And this is why that cash position is so important. You do not have to do anything right away. But that cash position should be earning some interest while you're waiting, while you're navigating, while you're figuring out what's next. The other thing that I will tell you guys is if you're a family out there and you feel like you're getting pressured into somebody telling you, you got to do this thing or it's all going to blow up, you don't. I promise. Sometimes the best decisions that you can make, especially after coming into a lot of money like the draft, is just wait. Just wait. Get educated. Understand what all your options are and then make a decision. And that cash position can be a great tool to be able to earn some interest while you're navigating all these new complexities, all these new unknowns, and while you're figuring out what the next best move for you and your family is. The third thing I want you to think about is what sorts of retirement accounts you can contribute to. The reason why this is so important, and I would argue arguably the most time-sensitive thing, is depending on your league will depend on what retirement account options you have. We'll use baseball as an example. Major League Baseball players have the opportunity, even as a minor league player in the draft, to contribute to the MLB or the Minor League Baseball 401k plan. This is a time-sensitive plan. If you do not contribute when your signing bonus gets paid out, which is typically 30 days after you sign the contract, you can't go back and contribute to it later in the year with the signing bonus money. So it's so important to make sure you contribute to this on the upfront. So this is us working with team payroll. This is us working with the 401k provider to make sure all the elections are checked off correctly to make sure that money goes in there. Now you might be thinking, Jacob, why are you preaching the retirement accounts so much? And the reason why is we talked about taxes. The retirement accounts are one of the foundational elements to help you save as much money as you possibly can on taxes. Taxes are going to be your biggest lifetime expense. Think about retirement accounts as one of your best friends to help save you money on that lifetime tax bill. And number 4, I want you to think about what your future goals are. And if you're an athlete out there, here's the exact exercise that I want you to go through. I want you to take out a piece of paper. No, right now, I want you to take out a piece of paper. And I want you to start writing down everything that you think you want in the future. The piece of land, the house you want, the car you want, the jewelry you want, the vacation you want. I want you to map out, visualize what you want this lifestyle to look like in the future. And the reason why this is so important is as a financial planner, it helps your team figure out, okay, if this is what we want our lifestyle to look like in the future, if we backtrack from where we're at there to where we're at today, here's what we need to do from a savings standpoint and from an earning standpoint to get there. Because what I'll tell you is in the draft, oftentimes what your lifestyle would look like in the future, you can't accomplish all those things today. You might be able to have one reward purchase, buy a new car, maybe you buy a watch, maybe you go on vacation, but you can't buy the dream house and the land and everything all in one foul swoop typically. But what you can do is you can set out a North Star to say, hey, when I get this contract, when I earn this level of money, when I have this savings in mind, now I can go ahead and buy the next thing on the list that I want to buy and start to slowly build out the lifestyle. And the reason why this is so important is if you are an athlete out there, the number one goal you have from a financial standpoint is to steward your money in a way that when you get done playing the sport, you can live a same as or a better lifestyle than what you were doing when you were currently playing. And the beautiful thing about that is every financial decision you make completely inside of your control. What happens with your sport and what happens on the field, a lot of those things can be outside of your control. And I want you to think about the financial side as this safe haven of, okay, if I set the foundation in place, if I get my tax bill figured out, I understand what my cash position should be, I know what retirement accounts I should be contributing to, and I have some future goals laid out, you are going to be ahead of 95% of athletes that are getting drafted because you're going to have the foundation in place. And then from there, you can start building on tax strategies and investment options and investment strategies and all these different income producing assets to help you start to build out and map out that lifestyle. Do not try to do that before you have the foundation in place. My goal is to help you get smarter with your money. These are the things that I wish I would have known as an 18-year-old back in 2009 when I was getting drafted. And I hope to help you today. So as always, my goal is to help you get smarter with your money. Until next time, my friends.